Today we're working on our spine and shoulders. So we're going to start warming up with some controlled articular rotations. We're going to create body tension, 30-40%, and we're starting with our neck rotations. So remember to avoid any area of pain, and we're going for just 4 big circles on one direction, and then we're doing 4 on the other one. Try to make every circle, every rotation just a little bigger, and avoid areas that might be painful. We do not want to experience any pain in these motions. So this is number 3. And number 4, keep a tempo. So you want to do them not too slow because we want them to be an activation, not like a static stretch. And remember to maintain the body tension so we can actually isolate the joint that we're trying to target. 1 more. Take notes of some areas that might feel tighter, as you might want to address those with some stretching at the end of the session. Alrighty, now we're going for neck extension and flexion. So I'm going to stay sideways. The first thing you want to think of is to stay nice and tall, and you don't want your neck to be slumping over, but you want to be nice and straight. And now creating body tension just about as much as you can handle. You always want to start with a little and then build up on these motions, above all because the neck can be a sensitive area for many. So starting with a nice tall and tucked back position, we're going on full flexion, slowly with body tension. So we're isolating, stay nice and tall, and then extension. So the main thing here is that I'm not letting my neck fall back and neither fall forward, and I'm really engaging just the neck and not the C-spine, and not the T-spine, sorry. And we're doing 4 total, so really feel that body tension to isolate the motion. And the last one. This is an exercise that is really important both for cyclists, because being on the bike, it's easy that our head tends to stay forward, so we really want to have a strong neck, but it's also good because of posture when we are working at our desks. So, okay, we get into thoracic rotations. So for this one, I'm gonna get a yoga block. You can do it without, just make your fists or hug your shoulders. We create body tension, and these we are isolating the T-spine. So we're coming into full T-spine flexion, and then I'm starting to rotate on one side and find that range of motion of the T-spine without letting my hips compensating by swinging side to side, back and forth. and really hold that tension to isolate the spine. And again, we're doing 4 rotations per side. Try to find a slightly bigger range of motion at each rotation. And again, maintain a tempo in your movement. All right, reverse. We want it to be an activation for the work that we're doing later. So keep it moving. Really maintain that body tension. And one more. Alrighty, now we're going to do shoulders. So standing strong, create body tension. We're going for external rotation. I'm coming both hands toward the middle, all the way up, maintain that body tension, internal rotation, all the way back, fight for more internal rotation as you're going back, maintain body tension, and then extend, reverse, all the way up, and back down, again, external rotation, fight for external rotation, internal rotation, fight for more on the way back, all the way and down, extension, external rotation, all the way up and down, 2 more, up, internal rotation, all the way down, maintain body tension to isolate the shoulders, keep solid on your feet, feel those arches working in your toes, pushing down, extension, and alrighty, we're doing our scapulas, so fists in front of you. We're starting with protraction, then we lift up, we retract and go down, push, lift, retract and lower, push, lift, retract and lower. We're doing 2 more and then we'll reverse it. Push, lift, retract and lower, push, lift, retract and lower. Now we reverse the rotation, so in retraction I'm lifting, pushing, lowering, and then again retraction. Lift, push, lower, retract, lift, push, lower, retract, 2 more, lift, push, lower, retract, lift, push, lower, and retract. Alrighty, we are going to do elbows, so elbows right beside us. I'm going to turn my hands and forearms into external rotation, lift up, internal rotation, lower, external up, internal lower, external up, internal lower, 2 more, external up, internal lower, external up, internal lower, and now keeping internal with the raise, external lower, and we're doing 4 more. Up and lower, up and lower, up and lower, and I think we have 1 more, and lower. Alrighty, Now again, create body tension to isolate the wrists. So remember, our forearms are facing up as if we are carrying a tray on them. And now we isolate the wrists, and we are going to do 4 full rotations per side. Try to fight to gain more range of motion at every rotation. And again, take notes if there are any areas that feel tight or might crock a little more. You might want to address them with some stretching at the end of the class. Now we reverse it. Again, make sure that those forearms are not twisting, but that the motion is happening all at the wrists. And one more. Alrighty. Get down into quadruped position, and we're doing our spine segmentation. So 90 degrees, shoulder over hands and hips over knees. I'm getting into a neutral spine. I'm starting with extension. So we find our extension position, create body tension, and now I'm going to isolate the different segments of the spine into a wave from extension to flexion. So I'm starting from my tailbone. Hold that body tension, tuck your pelvis in, and then slowly build it up to the neck, and then slowly building it down. Use your core to isolate the segments of the spine and really try to feel like you're moving one area at a time. And we're doing 4 total. Maintain a tempo again. When you get into extension, now we're starting from the neck in one segment at a time down to the tailbone, and then again from the neck to spine, one segment at a time to the pelvis, neck again. Breathe into it and really maintain that body tension to feel that segmentation. Alrighty. Good. Now, still in quadruped position, we're going to do 5 times just the pelvic tilt. So from this position, create body tension, and now without changing the position of the rest of the spine, we're just going into anterior pelvic tilt and then posterior pelvic tilt. Anterior pelvic tilt, posterior pelvic tilt. Anterior, posterior. Anterior, posterior. Let's do one more. Anterior, posterior. Okay, this was good to get more awareness of the pelvis for the exercise that we're doing later. In the meantime, I warmed up, so I'm going to take my socks off. Alrighty, so now we get onto the yoga mat, and we're going to work on bridge, but paying attention to the position of the pelvis. So bridge is when we just bring our hips up, right? Now I'm not just doing that, but from the mat, feel that pelvis position. So from anterior tilt, where my thoracic spine is down, but my pelvis is turning, and so creating room under below my lower back, to posterior tilt, where my lower back is smashing into the yoga mat because my pelvis is rotating posteriorly, okay? So we start in anterior tilt, so we have room under here, and then we create posterior tilt, so we smash down. Maintaining posterior tilt, we lift up, trying to separate only one vertebra at a time from the yoga mat, without letting that posterior tilt going. So we might not go as high as we do if we're not keeping track of that. And now from here, we just go back down, keep pushing for that posterior pelvic tilt, and we lower one vertebra at a time, fight for that posterior pelvic tilt. And when you get all the way down to your hip bones, go back into anterior pelvic tilt. And now that was one posterior pelvic tilt, one vertebra at a time up. And now one vertebra at a time down, fight for more posterior pelvic tilt. You should feel your deep core muscles really working here to push on that posterior tilt. And when you're all the way down, go for anterior. 3 more. Posterior, all the way up, one little segment at a time, fight for more posterior. And then down, hold that posterior tilt, hold that body tension, and anterior. Okay, 2 more. Posterior, one little segment at a time, up, fight for more posterior tilt, and then lower. And anterior. Last one, posterior, one vertebra at a time up, fight for more posterior, slowly let it go down, and anterior. All right, now we're going onto the wall and we're doing thoracic. So again, you can have a yoga block, you can just hold your fists. I'm going to keep my feet slightly off the wall with my legs slightly bent. And first of all, I'm going to stay nice and tall and straight. This is natural position, so my lower back has some space from the wall, according to your natural posture. Now I'm creating body tension, and I'm just going for spine flexion, starting again one vertebra at a time, and really hold that body tension to isolate the segments. I'm going to get all my thoracic spine slowly off, all the way into the lumbar spine, but I'm not letting go of my hip bones. And then slowly back up. Hold that core one little segment at a time, and we go back up. Again, the core is really doing the work here, along with the rest of the body. Again, we do 4 more for a total of 5. Keep that tension. Try to feel one vertebra at a time coming down from the wall. Maintain that natural position on your lower back. And then again, one vertebra at a time, coming back up. Alrighty, 2 more. Breathe through, one little segment at a time, and then back up. And then back down. And now I lost the count, I don't know if we did 4 or 5, so we're going to do one more after this one, just in case. And the last one. Really maintain that body tension, really use that core to isolate the different areas of your back. And back up. Very good. Now we're going into thoracic spine extension. These ones we do them standing or kneeling, however you prefer. And this is really not a lot of motion, but from finding your nice and tall position, I'm creating body tension, and then I'm going to extend my thoracic spine as much as I can without letting go of anything else. So I'm not letting my hips swing forward. I'm not letting my neck fall back. And then come back into a little bit of a C fold. And then we do this 4 more times. Nice and tall. Keep those ribs inside your core, so you're not letting those flare out as you're extending your T-spine, and then we bring it back. So we don't let the ribs flare out, because if those were flaring out, then it means that we let our core go. And if we let our core go, it means that we're not isolating the thoracic spine. Alrighty, 2 more. Breathe through, maintain that strong posture, strong body tension, hold that neck. If you do have any pain, as usual, just back off the motion. Generate less body tension, and anyways, avoid areas that might feel more tender. Alrighty, now we go back to bridge and we do again the spinal segmentations into bridge. So again, anterior pelvic tilt to posterior pelvic tilt, body tension, posterior pelvic tilt, one little section at a time comes up. And here the dog woke up. And now maintaining posterior pelvic tilt, one vertebra at a time. Come on, Bonita, sit down. Come back down to anterior tilt. We're doing 4 more. Posterior tilt, one little segment at a time goes up. And then one little segment at a time comes down. Fight for that posterior pelvic tilt throughout the motion to anterior. 3 more. Posterior, up. And then one vertebra at a time. Down to anterior. Perrita just wanted to say hi. She's back on her bed. Posterior tilt, one little segment at a time up. Fight for more pelvic tilt as we're going up. and then fight for that tilt as we come back slowly down to anterior. One more. Posterior, one segment at a time. Up, 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 up. Fight for more posterior tilt. One segment at a time down to anterior. Alrighty. Okay, now we're doing again thoracic extensions, but this time we're going to stay prone on the yoga mat. I'm going to keep my arms out, not quite at 90 degrees, but my elbows a little tucked in, but they're not too in either, so just at a comfortable pace. Forehead onto the mat, and then I'm going to extend only my thoracic spine. So this motion here, I'm bending my lower back. This is just the thoracic spine, so it's going to be less, like a smaller range of motion. Trying to engage that thoracic spine up, keep that strong neck, body tension that helps isolating, and down. We're doing 4 more. The last one we'll hold for 15 seconds and down. Strong body tension to help you isolate. One more, and then we'll hold. So 1 and down, and now this one, hold for 15 seconds. Really feel that flexion at the spine and slowly come back down. Oh, very good. Now the last one is our frog, and we're going to do spinal segmentation into frog. So for this one, I'm not going to move my yoga mat, so I put something under my other foot. So we get into frog while prone. Again, everyone here is going to be where they're at, and I actually invite you not to go at your maximum extension, but stay at a somewhat comfortable position where you are maybe 15-20 degrees less than your maximum extension. It's still a stretch, but it's not like full extension. And from here, we're doing our spine segmentation. So elbows down, and I'm starting from my pelvis. So I create extension, body tension, and now pelvis starts turning into flexion all the way up to the neck, and then the pelvis begins the wave coming up through the whole spine up to the neck, and again the pelvis. We're going 3 per direction. So this is my last one, from starting from the tailbone. Now when I get to extension, I'm starting from my neck. Really hold that body tension to try to isolate the various segments of the spine. Hold that body tension. And there we go. Very good. So we're done with the spine session, and now we're going to go onto our shoulders. So for this one, you want to have a small weight. Even just a kilo is fine. You can even use maybe just like a dog toy or like a small water bottle or even a towel. Although for this one, internal and external rotation, a weight is easier because it helps using some gravity to get us into more of internal rotation. So I have a 3 kilos weight. You can even use just 1 kilo, 2 kilos. We get into this nice and strong position, shoulder at 90 degrees, elbow at 90 degrees, and weight up. Create body tension, and we're going into internal rotation. Maintain a strong wrist so it's not collapsing, and then let the weight bring you into a little more internal rotation than what you would actively, and then into external rotation. Really hold that scapula and just feel the motion at the shoulder. You want to aim to keep the elbow up high and not let it fall up and down as you're rotating. And we're doing 5 total. So this was 2. This one is number 3. Body tension. I feel my core really working to avoid going into rotation because of the weight. This is 4. And this is 5. Alrighty. Other side. Again, strong 90-90. Create body tension. Strong core, ribs in. Strong wrist. Keep that elbow high. We're going for internal rotation and then back up. 2, 3, and up. 4, and up, and then 5. And up. Alrighty. Now we're going into again the full shoulder articular rotation, but this time we do the modified. So we get onto one side. I'm holding a towel. This one you can do with like a really light weight, maybe 1 kilo, but start with something smaller just to hold on to. It can even just be a tennis ball, just to help you create more tension. I'm staying on the side. I keep my legs staggered for balance, although my body is going to be tense, so that's really just like an extra help. Strong shoulder. I'm not letting my shoulder fall toward my ear. I'm creating space here. Create that strong position, and we're going for external rotation. Bring your arm in. Don't let your shoulder fall forward. Keep that scapula nice and low. Finish the rotation to the middle and up. As you reach up, keep that scapula down. Go for internal rotation. Fight for more internal rotation as you're going down. And back. Extend external rotation. Up. All the way. And down. Now we're going to do 3 more. External rotation. Internal rotation, fight all the way back and down, extend, rotate all the way up and back to start. External rotation all the way up, internal rotation, fight for internal rotation on your way down and back, extend external rotation, fight for that range of motion, and all the way down and back. And the last one, hold that core, body tension, isolate that shoulder, scapulas are strong, your base arm is strong, extend all the way up and down. Very good. Reverse it. And go on to the other side. So again, strong position, strong base shoulder. Hold that. Arm down. Go for internal rotation. Come in toward the middle. All the way up, extend above your head, internal rotation, keep that scapula strong, keep your shoulders stacked, fight for more range of motion, extend, external rotation all the way up, toward the middle and down. External rotation again all the way up, internal rotation, fight for the range of motion, hold that body tension, extend external rotation all the way up and down. Alrighty, 2 more. Maintain your tempo, try to keep the same speed as you're going through the repetitions, and hold that body tension to really isolate that joint, the shoulder in this case. Internal rotation down, extend external rotation all the way back. Very good. Now the very last one, we're going to be in quadruped position, and we're going to do scapular push-ups. Now here, quadruped position is fairly easy, or at least like doable, should be doable for most people. If you have issues on your wrists, you can do them on your elbows too. If you have a particularly weak shoulder and scapulas, and your upper body is weak or sore coming post-surgery or injuries, or whatever, that's just like a sore spot for you, you can do them against the wall too, so you can just give it more or less an angle to put more weight onto the shoulder. I'm doing them into quadruped position, but everyone, and if you want to make it harder, you can get into full plank position and do them there. So whatever it is, the position that is going to work for you, get into a strong position, engage your body, create body tension. And now we're doing the scapular rotations as we have weight onto them. So I'm going to push off, raise my arm, my shoulders toward my ears, and then retract my scapulas, and then lower my scapulas, and then push off again. So all this is happening while I'm keeping strong body tension, so the motion happens at the scapulas and not into the spine. And I'm going to do 4 in one direction, and then I reverse it. So I'm going to retract first, raise the shoulders toward the ears, push off, and then lower. And one more. Alrighty, very good. The last one, we're gonna end again with a Jefferson curl. So for this one, you can keep in mind the feeling that we had when we were doing the thoracic flexion at the wall. So really be strong, and at first we're isolating the beginning of the spine all the way down, and then we just keep going all the way to the floor. So for this one, it's really a core work to allow us to isolate the various segments of the spine. And also on the way up, we're fighting gravity. So it's the core that is stacking us back up. So strong position, we are all engaged from the feet up. And once we created body tension, we just start folding down, hold that core, really use everything to isolate these segments of the spine and creating this fold. Don't let your hips swing forward or backward, and all the way down. And we're going to do 3 times. So now come back up, really feel that is your core that is pulling you up. 1 vertebra at a time is restacked on top of the tailbone all the way up to the neck. Reset. Again, start folding at the top. 1 vertebra at a time. Really strong body tension here to isolate those segments. Do not let your hips go too much back and forth. All the way down. See if you can fold a little more than earlier, and then slowly come back up. Feel your core that is restacking 1 vertebra at a time. Hold that body tension, and we go back up straight. The last one, body tension. Start folding at the neck and the spine, middle spine into the lumbar spine, all the way down. Try to isolate those segments. When you get to the hips, then finally let yourself get all the way down slowly. See if you can get a little further into that fold. Feel the stretch behind your legs too. And now body tension, and feel that it's really our core that is slowly pulling back up and restacking our core 1 vertebra at a time onto the spine. Very good. Now we're done with the mobility part. I encourage you to repeat the warm-up cars. You can do them holding a little less body tension, and that's just to feel the new range of motions that you experimented with through the workout. And I will see you next time.